I never want to be one of those, I don't have the kind of following and platform that a lot of these big social media trainers have, and I don't want it because I see so many of these people, especially younger people, I don't see them ever improve as dog trainers. They get bigger, but they put so much effort into social media and filming and creating content that the dog training never changes. If I look back at myself the way I was training 5, 6 years ago, I know I'm doing a better job today. And eventually that's the progression I want to keep getting to till the day I'm done doing this. Because the second I stop getting better and just try to grow my audience per se, I'm done. In my opinion, any dog trainer, you could be the best dog trainer in the world. Anything you do with that dog is temporary. And the only way we can make it permanent is by the education we give the human. So for 15, 16, 17 years now, that's where I've put my effort. How could I be the best teacher possible? But at the same time, making things so simple, right, that people have a hard time failing.
Hey, everybody, and welcome. So I'm 𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙤 𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙤 from Automation Dogs. Welcome to my podcast where I try to create content to help other dog trainers. Sometimes it's new dog trainers and we're just kind of helping each other. And then sometimes it's super experts that, we've all kind of heard of and we want to hear from so that they've already kind of been through it and maybe can share with us on how to avoid some of the pain as we are building our businesses and training dogs and dealing with clients and all that good stuff. So today I have the pleasure of interviewing Larry Krohn. Welcome, Larry.
Hey, Leanne, thanks for having me.
Hey, thank you for joining me. So I was asking before we started because I want to make sure that, of course, introduce everybody correctly. And we were talking about your business, Pack Masters, and just wanted to make sure everybody knew Pack Masters. It's PAK, is that right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, but like you said, I think people refer to my name more than the company because I don't use it that often, but that's how it started a long time ago, and I just keep it there, I guess, for legal purposes and paperwork and everything.
Yeah. It's interesting because you've made such an amazing name for yourself. And yeah, you have this business name that people may not associate with you.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So interesting, the journey that you have been on. And I have some really fun questions, I hope, for you
Awesome.
today
Yeah,
because
cool.
you do a lot of podcasts and a lot of unique things. And I want to keep this entertaining and maybe a
Love
little
it.
bit different so that you're going to have some fun today, too.
Awesome. I look forward to
So
that.
I'd asked you just before we started if you remembered meeting me because I came out to Rolex in Kentucky
Yes.
and that you
Yeah.
came out and we got to meet.
Yeah, that was literally like
I think
19,
that
20
was,
years ago. Crazy.
yes. And, sometimes things like I don't remember everything. I don't have the best memory, but I think when I think about big events in my life, I remember them like 9/11. I know exactly where I was and every moment, whether it's good or bad, like it's such an emotional thing. And I think why I remembered Rolex so well was because there was a young girl who was competing in the cross country and we knew her. And the basket jump in the cross country. And I guess like it's kind of a really tricky jump because the horse has to worry about what's above them. And
Mm.
oh man, ass over tea kettle, helicopters had to come in, and it was just
Wow, I don't remember that.
terrifying.
Holy smokes. I don't
Yeah,
even remember that. That's how bad my memory is. Wow, that's awful.
yeah. And I think too, like Rolex, the horse event at the park there, they kept announcing the time, like it's 9 a.m. Rolex time. And then they announced the helicopters are coming in. And I'm like, oh
Mm.
my gosh, what is happening? And it was this young girl that we knew, and it was just so significant. And her mom would run along and try to keep up so she could like be a part of this and be there for her daughter.
Oh, wow.
I can't even run like a little bit, but yeah, it was very emotional. So I'm thinking that's why I remember it so
Wow.
well.
Yeah, I
Um,
bet. Yeah, that's scary stuff. I did a seminar in England in September, and one of the people that were hosting me, he's a jockey, and I went to watch one of his events. It was a race, but they do all the jumping in the races and stuff. Oh my gosh! I every time they went over, and all the horses are going at the same time over these jumps, I just cringed and was so stressed out just watching it. I don't know how they do it. Scary.
yeah. Do you have horses or have you ever worked with
No,
horses?
no, no. I love horses, but I don't have any.
Yeah. I'm not a horse person. So, okay. I'm going to jump into a fun, like, opener question. I'm excited to hear your answer. So, this is kind of a bit silly. If Jurassic Park were real, would you go?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I love wildlife. I love the outdoors. Absolutely. I probably need a few drinks in me first, but I'd go. Yeah.
That's really smart. That's really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I thought that was such an interesting question because I think it kind of tells us, like, if you're someone who will kind of wait on the sidelines and watch
Yeah.
versus just jump in and do it.
That's an awesome
And
question.
I'm not
I like
surprised.
that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm not surprised of your answer. You're very bro, so of course you're going to say yes. But when I first met you, you're always looking for this new way, and you're trying to surround yourself with experts, and you seem to be like the first doing this and really putting yourself out there. So your answer doesn't surprise me at all.
Cool.
So my next question, let me see here. What's something you enjoy that most people would find boring?
Ooh, that's a really tough question. I think, well, a lot of people know this about me. I'm a big hunter. I'm a big deer hunter. And I spent a lot of time sitting
Mm,
in a tree in really bad weather from dark till dark, 10, 12 hours at a time without moving and doing anything. A lot of people know I'm into that. And most people, I'm not a patient person or someone that can sit around doing nothing. I'm always on the go. But I use that time of year in the fall. It's kind of my therapy. And there's two times that I could sit there and do nothing. That's when I'm sitting in a tree in the fall, just enjoying nature. And I enjoy my road trips with a dog where I just turn everything off. And for sometimes hours at a time, there's no music, there's no podcast, there's no nothing because I don't get a lot of downtime like that. So I really enjoy that. I just drove up to New Jersey. It was my mother's 75th birthday, and I just went home with my kids to surprise her. Most people are going to fly. It's a 14, 15-hour drive, and we're only going for one day. I drove it. I drove it there. I drove it back because I actually enjoy the road trips. And I wound up having a blast with my kids in the car because usually I'm by myself, you know. So there's not very many times where I get a lot of downtime to do nothing. I think most people wouldn't be able to sit still in a tree in 20-degree weather, freezing to death, but that's my thing for sure.
I find that my mind races so much, I almost need something to concentrate on.
Mm,
Um, what you just said made me think of something that I learned more recently, maybe 10 years ago. I learned about this. Some people have like a narration in their head. Like I can hear my own voice
yes.
when I'm thinking about things.
Hmm.
And there's people that have no like running dialogue in their head. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I had that.
I'm with you. I have a constant dialogue. And sometimes, if I'm with my wife or kids, apparently I say it out loud and I don't even know it. And I do it a lot because, yeah, things are always running like that. But that's why I have a hard time sleeping at night, too, because that's when it's at its worst. When I lay down to go to bed at night, like the mind is always racing and you're thinking about this and thinking. And sometimes you're thinking about things, at least for me, that I don't even know why I'm thinking about them. It's just there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's interesting because I always thought it was more like women that have that worrying state of mind, and we're always thinking like that. So it's nice to hear that, you have that difficulty too.
No, absolutely.
So my next question, what's something people assume about you that isn't true?
Oh man, I think a lot of times, and this is one of the things, I have conversations with people all the time about this. I'm pretty open about what I feel and think about things. I don't keep too much to myself. But one thing that it kind of irritates me sometimes, if people think they know me politically and every which way inside and out, because if I think one way about something, they just assume you think the same way about everything. And this is a conversation. I'll give you an example. A couple of months ago, someone had done a podcast, and they had come to a seminar that I do with Jack and Joel Silverman, and the podcast was about me. And so when I saw it, I was like, "Well, the heck, this is never good, right?" And it was good. They said really nice things, but it bothered me so much because they felt that they had to do a podcast to say good things about me because they had a very negative idea of who I was. Like they were so surprised to see that I was actually a nice guy and didn't think about things the way they saw. I was like completely judged 100%. And that gets old sometimes, and listen, I get it. I do it to myself in many times because I am very out there and loud, and I don't hold back on certain subjects. But I think that's because so many people that run or own a business, they're scared to talk about how they truly think about things or which side they fall on about this subject or that subject. I really don't care. Like I'm never going to change who I am and hide things for business purposes. It's not the smartest thing, but I'm not the best businessman. And I don't care too much about business. I've done okay in the dog world, regardless of my flaws, and there's many of them, you know. But that is a thing, and like I said, the podcast was very complimentary, and I was happy about that, and I listened to it, and I talked to him about it. But they wanted to do a podcast and have me on to talk about all kinds of social, subjects and political subjects. I don't like mixing dogs in that. My family gets on me sometimes. They want me to have, two Facebook pages, the business page and the personal page. Smart people do that. I'm not that smart. I have one page. You see my life. You see everything. There's, what you see is what you get. And I do get people at seminars that come up to me quite often and they say, "Man, I like you so much more in person." Like, oh, thanks. I think I don't know how to respond to that sometimes, but that is something
Yes.
that, like, if they see me outspoken and support maybe a subject that I get it all the time. I had a gay couple friends of mine were getting married, and I had nice things to say about them. And man, I couldn't believe the messages. Like, I can't believe like you're okay with that. And some of them were happy I was, and some of them weren't happy I was. I was like, that's none of your. Why wouldn't I be? Why? Or more importantly, why would you think that you know how I think about these different subjects? But I get it.
Yeah.
My wife gets upset sometimes because she's like, "Why do you allow people to think like you're some dumb meathead? When you're not like that." I'm like, "Listen, I am who I am. I don't try to convince anybody one way or the other." Some people, it seems like people either really love me or really hate me. There doesn't seem to be a lot in the middle. And I'm 54 years old. I'm getting old. I'm tired. I'm totally okay. I don't really care to convince. At one time in my life, with all the social media stuff, it would really upset me and bother me when someone had nasty things to say about me or didn't like me. I was like, why don't they like me? Like, I've never done anything to them. Now I just don't care anymore. It's just, I realize it's part of putting yourself out there. You have to accept you're going to get a lot of ugliness back if you're always putting yourself out there, and I choose to continue to do that. And every time I say, you know what, I think I'm done with this. I don't need to do this anymore. someone will send me a message, perfect timing of just, man, thank you so much. Like the
Yeah.
help you gave me, you have no idea what your videos have done, or you said this. And I'm like, okay, I can't stop it. That makes it all worth it there. You know what I mean? That was a long answer.
Definitely.
Sorry.
No, that got deep, and I think that's what a lot of people need to hear. I talk to dog
Right.
trainers all the time, and they're afraid to put themselves out there. I personally have always leaned into, I don't want to talk about on my business stuff. I don't want to talk about politics or religion.
Hmm.
I miss those days, but the world has shifted, and it's tough to navigate.
It is. It really is. And sometimes it's really hard to keep your mouth shut when you know you're going to regret saying something. And I know when I think about something, I probably shouldn't say this. I know I'm going to regret it. Like every time I think that, I say, I should have listened to myself, you know?
Yeah. It sounds like your wife has kind of got your back and helps keep maybe you focused on the good things in life instead of starting to get sucked into some of those negative things. We're back.
I'm so sorry. This
No, you're
is like
fine.
so ridiculous.
Is it this is the storm?
I'm assuming, yeah. Yeah, it was trying to load, go back on, and I had to log out and I came back in.
It sounds clearer now because it was kind of cutting out before, so maybe it's even better.
Okay. All righty.
So, are you okay picking up where we were kind of
Yeah,
leaving off?
absolutely. Absolutely.
I really liked what you were saying, and one of the things that stood out is you mentioned your wife, and does
Mm,
she kind of keep you on the positive side of life?
yes, always. Always. Yeah. And she left corporate America almost 2 years ago now. She left a very good career just to run the business side for me, and it's man, it's taken so much stress away from me. There were times I had three emails going and 70 something thousand unread messages in each. And at that point, you don't bother anymore. You're done. It's like you get so overwhelmed and the anxiety kicks in because you're blowing people off. And then you're getting nasty messages or you run into them at a seminar. Like you're too big now to respond to me. You have to show people. I want to show you something, right? And I'll show them one email, 70 something thousand unread emails. And they go, holy crap. Like I'm not blowing people off. I'm not ignoring. I'm one person. I chose to keep it that way, and not have a bunch of 20-year-old kids working for me because I think I'd be a nightmare I'm an easy person to get along with, but I would be a nightmare. I can't put my name on something that someone else is doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I've chosen to keep it like this, just a one man show. And when I need a break, I'll take a break. And it's worked so far. And I don't know if I'll ever change that, to be honest with you, Leanne.
Yeah, well, there's not many people who are having to navigate something like that because,
Mm,
you're like a viral dog trainer getting all of these messages, and this is new territory. So, yeah, I could see that. You want to keep the authenticity and
yeah.
being you, but it's weighing on you. So, yeah, it's not many people who are dealing with that.
Yeah. Well, I think I just got in at the right time. Like you said, when we met 20 years ago, when the internet thing just started, it was a good time. you
Yeah.
know Now everyone, it's like everything in any subject you look at today, sports, dog training, everything's gone so far, that the stuff that people were impressed with 20 years ago we were doing is just standard now, like it, and it just keeps getting crazier and crazier. And I never want to be one of those. I don't have the kind of following and platform that a lot of these big social media trainers have, and I don't want it because I see so many of these people, especially younger people. I don't see them ever improve as dog trainers. They get bigger, but they put so much effort into social media and filming and creating content that the dog training never changes. And if I look back at myself the way I was training 5, 6 years ago, I know I'm doing a better job today. And eventually that's the progression I want to keep. keep getting to till the day I'm done doing this, because the second I stop getting better and just try to grow my audience per se, I'm
Hmm.
done. I don't want to ever want to be in that boat.
Yeah. And I think you already answered my next question was going to be what's something most people don't know about your field because yeah, you're a dog trainer, you help a lot of working dogs and you help people on the digital space. There's not many of us doing that. So I think what I already kind of took away is that, there's a lot that weighs on you that you can't answer all of these, messages that are coming in and trying to navigate that and
Sure.
yeah, your world is unique. So, but did you have anything else that you would like to share about like what's something most people don't know about like your field?
Oh man, it's funny because I do quite a bit of stuff on the working side and sports side of things when it comes to behavioral problems, right? If someone calls me and says, "Hey, I want to be an IGP national champion," then I'm not your guy, right? I haven't had success in that field. I don't do that. Or someone says, "I want to excel at agility." I'm not sure. I'm going to send you to the right people. What I do find a lot of success in is I get a lot of people from different areas of sport and working dogs that have behavioral problems or struggling in this and struggling in that, and I've done very well on that side of things. And I enjoy that part because I'm dealing with people that want to be better, that are always trying to be better. They have dogs that want to do things. And so I really enjoy that side of what I do. And thankfully, I get to do it often. On the flip side, what made me who I am and what I'm known for and what I still enjoy very much is the pet dog side of things with behavioral problems, right? And I'll never take that for granted. I'm very grateful to how many people have just trusted me and just given me what I have today in dogs. But at the same time, man, it could be draining when you're dealing with someone that doesn't want to be better or doesn't have the ability to be better, because not everyone's going to be good at this. And I'm very honest about that. And you have this person that no matter how much they want to get better, they don't have the ability. And then they go out and they get a working line German Shepherd or a high drive Rottweiler or a Malinois. And that's something I see every single day of my life. And that can be exhausting because I put so much effort into the human side of things. And what I tell people is, and I never tell them like directly, but in general, I say this a lot. You can send me away to a school for a year to teach me how to rebuild engines or build a house or rewire a home. I'm never going to be good at it. I don't have a handy bone in my body. That's not in my DNA. Like you can't make me be good at fixing and building things, right? And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that are like that when it comes to dogs. They don't have that feel, that understanding. No matter how much you work with them, they're never going to grasp it. And that could be very difficult because these are the same people going out and getting very difficult breeds, very strong breeds. I truly believe that like people have to stop. I can make a living just off working line German Shepherds, going to
Hmm.
pet homes where the people don't want to do cool German Shepherd things. They just want a pet and they want the insane behavior to stop. And it's not going to happen. That is the kind of stuff that breaks you down and wears you down. I do about two online consultations a day, people all over the world. I had one before you. I have one after you. This gentleman I just did a session with in Finland. He sent me his videos for me to look at. I was like, man, this guy's really good. He's got a great dog. And then I came out in such a good mood after the hour because my wife's like, you have a good goal. I'm like, yeah, this guy was great. Like he just got it and he's done so much right already. There was like one little piece that he was missing that was so easy to fill in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But on the flip side, you get the people that, hey, I have four dogs. Two of them are killing each other inside the same home, you know, and they can't take one dog for a walk nicely. Like everything's a struggle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they want some quick fix or answer. There is no such thing. My job is to make anyone I work with the best dog handler possible. Like that's my job. Not a dog trainer. I don't expect everyone to be a dog trainer, right? But anything I do with a dog, or in my opinion, any dog trainer, you could be the best dog trainer in the world. Anything you do with that dog is temporary. And the only way we can make it permanent is by the education we give the human. So for 15, 16, 17 years now, that's where I've put my effort. How could I be the best teacher possible? But at the same time, making things so simple, right, that people have a hard time failing. And it's gone really well, but you're still going to run into people that are just outmatched with what they have for a dog.
Yes. Um, Burnout was definitely something that, you've spoken on in a couple of these little short conversations. Do you have any tips for, I get that sometimes you get some positivity come in, you've got your
Yeah.
wife. Any tips for dog trainers that are experiencing the burnout?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. For one, I'm in a unique position, so I'm not an idiot. When I talk to trainers and younger trainers, especially, I have the benefit and the luxury of being able to only work with people I want to work with. I get that. Not everyone's in that position. People have bills to pay, they have facilities and employees to pay. I've done a lot of dumb things, but again, going back to keeping it small, the one smart thing I've done is I've never gotten in a position where I couldn't just take a month or two off if I wanted to. And at the same time, I'm retired from a very good full-time career. You understand? And I think the reason I was able to stay with the dog so long is because I never had to do it to make a living. So I was able to do it in an honest way, the way I wanted to, because, financially we were good. My wife had a great career. I had a great career. The dog stuff was supposed to be just on the side. It didn't last long on the side. Even when I was a full-time federal agent, the dogs were full-time too. I was going nonstop 7 days a week for 25 years. That's insanity. I don't know how I did it looking back. That's why I got exhausted. You know what I mean? But you start to realize then, like, I used to stress so much during seminars. Like, I used to get like physically ill before a seminar
Yeah.
because you got people traveling, sometimes from all over the world, to see you and work with you. And the last thing you want to do is let people down. And there was a time where I thought I had to fix every dog on the spot. And that was stressful, right?
Yeah.
Until you start realizing, wait a minute, it's my job to provide the education and give the information and do as much work as we can, of course, right? But a seminar isn't a realistic place to train a dog. It's very unfair to the dog. It's very unfair to the human. And so I make sure we go over all that now. And I also tell them we're going to do things this weekend that I wouldn't do in real life. We're doing it because we're here and I want you to understand it and learn it. But when you get back home, now it's your job to go back to the beginning and do it right. You take the information and you do it in a way where it is more fair to the dog and to yourself. And I also, in the mornings, I told my buddies, Jay and Joel, this when we do the seminars together. I don't think about what I'm going to do with the dogs anymore and think about this problem. What I do in the mornings before a seminar every day now, I tell myself, my job is to go out there, be very grateful to these people that are sacrificing everything there to be there and treat them like they deserve to be treated and have a good time. And the day I started doing that, it's very difficult to fail at that point. And it's part of the reason we have such a good time when we're doing these things. Like we truly do have a good time. You're always going to have someone that wants to disturb things no matter what. But it's rare. It doesn't happen often. And usually when someone has a bad experience, it comes out of embarrassment and frustration when they expect you to lie to them and sugarcoat things, and
Mm.
they want to hear what they want to hear. They don't want to hear what they need to hear. And I'm never going to lie to someone who's paying me to help them. If you pay me to help you, I'm going to be on. I'll do everything I can. I'll bend over backwards to help you, but I'm going to be honest with you. And if you're in a situation where I have to tell you, this is a danger for you to have this dog. Like, I'm scared that you're going to wind up hurt really bad or worse, I'm going to tell you that. I'm not going to tell you, yeah, we could fix this, and I do turn a lot of people away simply because I know you can't succeed in the situation that you're in.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think it takes time and confidence and practice in dealing with being more blunt and direct, but sometimes it's like I have to do it in business and I'll help a dog trainer with their business. I run their CRM and I can see, hey, there's this happening. I'm gonna be straight with you because I can take 3 months to show
Yeah,
you gently what's happening,
yeah, hmm
but that's going to cause you a lot of pain to have to wait to figure this out more organically. So now I'm just going to tell you straight up. And
sure.
it took me a while to get there in confidence. But yeah, burnout was, something that we all face. I was just recommended to read this book. A fellow dog trainer has been in this for a long time too, and he said that he was dating a yoga girl, and she turned him onto this book. And I can't even say the name of it right now, but it's like a 3 hour read. And I started it, and there's a bit of religion to it, and I'm not, super, you know, I don't like to talk about things like that
Mm,
anyway because I don't like to talk about politics and religion and stuff, but there is a bit of
yeah,
that. But I'm a very open-minded person, and yeah, I've started listening to it, and it's really good. So I'm going to be doing a podcast on that particular book and how it's helped
nice.
other
I look
dog
forward to
trainers.
hearing about that.
Yeah, I wish I
Yeah.
could tell you the name right now, but yeah, it's one of those books that you put on and you're actually listening and not just
Mm,
hearing noise in the background.
I like
So,
that.
all right. So, my next question, and I thought this one might be interesting here. What's a strong opinion you have that you'll defend no matter what?
Oof. Oh man, that can go really deep. Oh my gosh. Well, just dogs or in general?
In general, whatever comes to mind.
Oh, okay. Well, something that is ingrained very deeply in me and has nothing to do with dogs, but it can go back to dogs too, is I think there's people that have been put on this earth that have the ability, and because they have the ability, in my opinion, they have the responsibility to protect the weaker. And I never realized that about me till I started getting older. And there were certain situations where it's weird. It's too long of a story to get into. But I had an incident on a plane once when my wife was with me, and it was weird. They had to separate us, not for because we were fighting or anything, just how the seating went on. And my wife wound up sitting next to this lady who was actually flying back to the hometown. We lived right near each other. And this lady started asking questions about it. And she kind of told my wife who I was. And she was some kind of not religious person, not a therapist, but like this spiritual person that did a lot of this stuff in the background. And they just got deeper into who I am deep inside as a person, where I have this, it's not something I do consciously. I can't watch a child, a woman, the elderly, an animal. I don't have that ability to turn away from someone in one of those categories being treated poorly, and I'm I'm a very emotional and sensitive person, which most people would not believe, but it's the truth. My wife's probably going, "Is this a dog podcast?" But that's who I am, and I think the older I get, the worse it even gets, right? But what the flip side of that is I can be an extremely aggressive human being when necessary. And that means if I see someone being treated poorly or taken advantage of or being abused, and the same thing with an animal, I don't have the ability to look away and not act in a very, very harsh way when needed. I just don't have that ability. I wish I did. Like I look at someone like my wife has she can never turn away from that too, but the way she handles things is much healthier on herself. My son is a very, very sensitive, like Buddhist kind of loving individual. Nothing shakes him. My wife calls him the avatar. You know what I mean? Like nothing phases him. He's good to go. I just believe that there are people, like I said, that cannot turn it off, and I think they're put here for a reason. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
I just, it's something I feel deep. So an issue I had in the dog world many times, Leanne, I told people not too long ago that I said, the next person that sends me a video of a dog being abused, I'm blocking you, because I can't look at that and then go on with my day. It's something that affects me in such a deep, horrific way, and I can't turn it off. And then I start having these visions and these reactions that are not healthy for my own well-being and health. It really isn't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But people will continue to do it. And listen, usually I wind up acting on it. And I have been part of some big cases where I had to put it forward and follow up on things. But in the end, nothing happens to these people. And it's
Wow.
like, I still carry that weight around. And what happened because of it? Listen, I was part of a case a little over a year ago. Someone sent me a video of a guy, someone was filming from a distance. He was abusing this dog in a crate, this German Shepherd. I shared it, put it out there. It wound up going massively viral, right? Wound up being interviewed on the news out in Kansas City. They wound up locking the guy up. I don't know what it was. So at least there was some good things that went with it. Literally a year later, this is recent, a year later, my inbox on every platform is blowing up. People wishing me dead, making death threats, ripping me apart. And I'm going, what the hell is this? And I start reading these messages, and it's this video that some rescue got a hold of, started resharing it, and they put my name on it. I don't know if they did it on purpose or just wasn't thinking. So now you got all these people thinking I'm the guy in the video, not the
Right.
guy who exposed it. I'm the guy in the video. And it goes even further to where some people are like, you idiot. He's not the guy in the video. He's the guy filming it. And then people are like, how could you film it? I'm neither. I exposed it. You know what I mean? And that's when I put out the message that the next person that sends me something like that, I just block you. I want nothing to do with you, because that was, I had to put out videos explaining it and had to start, and I was like, I'm done. Like, I don't want no part of that anymore. Those are the things that people don't see that goes on behind the scenes. Yeah, you're one person. You send me this one video. What happens when 50 other people send me stuff? You know what I mean? And I don't have the biggest platform, but they know that I'm going to do something and say something because I'm a big mouth and I can't keep my mouth shut with stuff. But no more. I stay away from that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you spoke on how you respond when the weak is getting hurt or abused or anything like that, that was so powerful. I'm like, I don't even know what to say to respond to that. But I did think of something, and it was something that a former police officer said to me when I was talking about, like, accidentally watched the video of Charlie Kirk getting shot,
Mm.
and I can't unsee that. And he said, we're not really meant to reprocess seeing those things and processing them. And then you poor people that deal with being a police officer, being an agent, like, oh boy.
Yeah, when people get into those conversations, especially on the federal side, and you have people on both sides of the fence, when someone wants to talk to me about that, I'll always take a second and say, okay, I'm going to give you not my opinion. I won't tell you how I feel or what I think about this certain subject, especially the way things are today, right? But I'll just give you the facts on this subject so you can make your own decision. And just the straight things I know that I've experienced, that I've been part of and still part of. And when people have a complete opposite opinion of me in that subject, or they think they know that subject, I usually get one of two reactions when I give them specific examples, right? They either think I'm lying because it's so outrageous,
Hmm.
or they're just blown away and have a completely different outlook and understand why I feel the way I do about certain things. And my wife reminds me often, she's like, I would feel the same way they did if I wasn't married to you, if I didn't know. The only reason I know is because I'm married to you. So I see things that you said, been part of this for, we've been together 36 years since high school. She has seen it all. She saw it from day one. And that's why people have such a hard time that I think this way about this subject, but completely opposite about some social issue. It makes no sense to them. Well, it's because I have a brain and I could separate things. So many people today, you either belong to this party or that party. I can never imagine just belonging to a party because there's so many different ideas that get bounced around, right? So
Mhm.
I think on the subject, and I don't think too much about subjects that I know nothing about. At least I try not to. But the things that I have massively strong opinions on, it's because I lived it. I lived it and I experienced it and I saw it. Because when I first got on the job, I had very different opinions of that stuff. Very different opinions. And within the first year, I was like, oh boy, okay, I was lied to and I didn't know this actually went on. So my wife doesn't like me talking to people. If we go to a party or something, we don't do that too much anymore. And there's going to be people I don't know always on the way, at least one time. No politics.
Mhm. I totally get
Always.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me give you a question that I think is going to be inspiring and more positive because we've been getting into some good, like emotional stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it's good because it's real and it's going to help people.
Sure.
So, my next question is, what's a goal that you're quietly working towards?
Oh, okay. Wow, we were just talking about this today, me and my wife. I think we're at a stage of our life, we've both worked real hard for a long time. We've lived beneath our means. We haven't gone crazy and our kids are doing really well. We have two really great kids that are, man, their future is so bright. I think we're both ready to find a place on the beach where we've always gone on vacation once a year for 1 week, on a good year, maybe twice a year. And I think we're about to make that move and slow down and enjoy life in a very different way. Because we've been, since we got married, we were young. We were in high school when we started dating. And so when we first got married, we went nuts. We just partied and traveled and lived an exciting life. And we waited a while to have kids, which was great. We got to really enjoy each other. And then once we had kids, man, life really gets busy then. And my son's got 2 years of high school left. My daughter is doing phenomenal in college. And I think over the next 2 years, when my boy decides what he's going to do with college and stuff, I think we're going to go to our paradise and try to spend a lot more time there and buy a small house on the beach and probably split our time between where we're at now and down where we are. But we've literally never talked to really anybody about that. Like we don't even really tell our families that, because at one point, I think the boy we both grew up to, that seemed so far fetched. You
Mm.
know what I mean? And we're not like filthy rich or wealthy or anything, but we've been pretty smart and haven't just blown all our money on toys. We don't have any toys, like, so I think that's something we've both wanted for a real long time. And when we first started going where we go down on the Gulf, on the west coast of Florida up north, it just seemed like paradise to us. It's not, we never envisioned, hey, maybe we could live here someday. But I think that's what we're working toward now.
That is outstanding. I'm so happy for you. Being near the ocean definitely
Oh,
is calming and beautiful. The wildlife, the dolphins and stuff.
it's incredible. It's when we were younger, my wife was a beach person. I hated it. I couldn't lay there and do nothing. Right. I mean, and now when I'm down there, hey, you want to go do this? You want to go do some adventures, plan this? No, I'm at the beach. My cooler is next to me. I'm not moving. I'm getting down there in the morning and I'm not leaving till tonight. I'm not leaving the beach. I love it. I absolutely love it.
That sounds awesome. Okay, this one is interesting. If money was no object, what would your dream job be?
My dream job. Okay. It has nothing to do with money. I've always said my dream job would be to be a fighter pilot. That would be the ultimate for me. Like I'm too big and I get very sick, so that would never work out, right? But as far as money goes, it's crazy. This is going to be a really boring answer, Leanne. When I was younger, there were things that I thought I would love to do as a career, right? But I actually did what I wanted to do. I wouldn't change anything. Like
Mm.
if I hit the Powerball tomorrow, and this sounds so ridiculous and cheesy, but I'm being 100% honest. There's a good percentage of men out there that would dream of being a federal agent and being paid to do that. That was something that I wanted to do, and I did it. But at the same time, if money wasn't an issue anymore, I'd still be training dogs. I would just do it for free. And I did it for free for a
Yeah.
long time when I started. I would do it. Every now and then, I do a few different free things. I'll have free group classes for anyone that wants to come, and they're usually like mini seminars, 5, 6 hour group classes. People come from all over. I try to do one or two free combat vet seminars a year. I haven't done any in a while because I just haven't been able to get a location or the time. But my favorite things to do by far in dog training is the free stuff. And the thing I feel guilty about is people like to give me nice gifts and thank me. They're so appreciative of my generosity, but I don't think I'm being generous because I feel good doing it. So I am getting probably more out of it than what the people are, but it just feels nice when there's no ties to business and money and you don't have to do it. And you get to see the appreciation and the joy on people's faces that maybe couldn't afford it, in any other way. So if money wasn't an object, I'd still be doing that, except I would have my own big piece of property not far from here, where I could have people there and probably have some buildings set up, some small homes, some dorms, where a couple times a year I invite certain people come in and we have this little adventure where we're training dogs for the week and there's no charge associated with that. That's what I would be doing.
Such a good answer. Wow. I haven't.
Yeah, it's boring. I wish there was something I wanted to do, but there really wasn't. I'm a big hunter, so people say, would you like to be, get paid to hunt? No, no. As much as I love it, when you're waking up at 3:30 in the morning in the middle of winter and going out and hunting all day till at night, after 2 or 3 weeks, you're a zombie. So
Yeah.
no, I wouldn't want to do that for a living. It would ruin my love for it. So no, I wouldn't.
Yeah, and I think so many people choose a different path if they get asked that question of like, what would you
Yeah,
be doing if money, and then they don't choose the field that they're in.
yeah.
But yeah, us dog trainers, we want to work with the animals, we want to work with dogs. So yeah, that was a great answer.
I've never been able to do something I don't want to do. I can't. I don't have it in me. Like I am such a baby when it comes to something like that. Like I told Stephanie the other day, my first job out of high school, I was working in a warehouse in New Jersey, right next to Giant Stadium where I grew up. And I was miserable. I hated it. And I remember walking in one day with this old guy. He was an old Puerto Rican man that had been working there 50 something years. His name was Santos. I owe Santos a lot. And I'm walking in and I said to Santos, man, I hate this place. I got to get out of here. And he went, ha, you'll be here the rest of your life just like me. And I said, no, I won't. He went, ha, yes, you will. I used to say the same thing. I literally stopped and I never went in. I quit and I never went back. And I said at that moment, until I become a federal agent, I'm not working again. And that's pretty much what I did. He scared me so much that I was getting into that routine and I didn't want to be someplace. I couldn't imagine waking up every day to go to work doing something I hated. So for the majority of my career as an agent, I loved it. Like I couldn't believe I was getting paid to do it. And it's the same thing with the dogs. There's times where I'm thinking, I'm in Australia, I'm in Scotland, I'm in England, I'm getting paid to do something that I would do for free. So I can't complain. I'm very, very lucky.
Wow. Wow, very pivotal moment, and that you were open to hearing and pivoting and taking
Mm,
action. You mentioned all of the places that you've been because of the dogs and the dog training and the
yeah.
people that go with them. What's one of your favorite places?
I haven't been to a ton overseas, but what's interesting is the people in the countries I just mentioned. were absolutely amazing. Like when I went to Australia, there were times I was uncomfortable. They treated me so well. Just the nicest people on earth. And then it was the same thing in England and Scotland. Such warm, welcoming, like just sincere people. They almost killed me with the drinking. Like you couldn't say no. Everybody wants to drink with you. And like I literally thought I was going to die after 19 days of drinking. But man, just good-hearted, generous people that would just give you the shirt off their back, and it's good to get out and see other places outside of the United States, but even here too. And I think, and this isn't something, I never set out to do or thought of, but people think that I've given so much away for free in dog training that they're so generous back to me now,
Mm.
without me asking and without me wanting, to be honest with you. I get very uncomfortable with accepting things, but it's something that I never thought of like, hey, I'm giving away free information. No, I just thought as I learned something, I like to share because it would probably help someone else. And as I would continue to learn, I'd continue to share. And people have given that back to me tenfold over the years. They really have, you know.
Yeah. Uh, it's interesting because I ask people, what's your favorite place that you've ever been, and why, and it sounds like the people is your response.
But
And
yeah,
yeah, and for me, it's like, well, like Yellowstone because the nature and the animals,
yeah,
it's a lot of people choose New Zealand or Australia if they've been there. I
yeah,
haven't been to those places, but it's for a different
yeah.
reason. It's the people or it's the animals.
Yeah, see, I was supposed to go back to Australia and New Zealand this year, but I was having health issues while flying, so my wife canceled that. There were a lot of people from New Zealand and Australia, beautiful people. Like I can't, the way they treated me was and I'd love to go back so bad, and maybe she'll just go with me and keep me alive on the plane or something. I don't know.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay, this one will be good for dog trainers. So,
Hmm.
if you had to rebuild your business from scratch in a new city, brand new, and you were just starting over, you were starting out, you weren't, Larry Krohn, dog trainer that we all know, uh, what's the first thing that you would do? Like, what would you lean into that would be very important to you?
Love it. I would put an announcement up in every place I could in that new place. I would pick a big outdoor, beautiful park, and I would say, bring your dog, and I'm going to teach you how to play with your dog. That's it. That's what I would focus on. Get people how to interact properly and build their dog up in a way where that dog becomes obsessed with the interaction with the human and the dog. And once I get you there, everything else will fall into place. Everything else is secondary. That's what I spend a lot of my time doing now. Um, the play thing has always been a big part of me, but now it's the majority of what I do to get these dogs to where I need them to be. And I owe people like Ivan Balabanov and Michael Ellis and Bart Ballone a lot of the concepts and things I've just taken from the greats that have come before me and shared so much information, and I've always tried to take the stuff from the great people I've learned from and pass it down in a simpler way to the everyday dog owner. That's been my job for the past 29 years, and I continue to try to do that.
Awesome. So, my next question you've already answered because you mentioned Santos, but what's a small decision that ended up changing your life? Is there another pivotal moment?
Yeah, easy. Taking my wife to the prom. Absolutely. I wasn't the prom kind of decent human being. I was very opposite before I met my wife, but I knew if I didn't take her, someone else would. And that was our first date, May 18th, 1990. And we've been together ever since. That was hands down the best, smartest decision I ever made. Mhm.
Oh, that's so sweet. Um, okay, let me see if I have any more good questions here. I know that you like going to Nashville. What's your favorite honky tonk over there?
Robert's Western World.
Oh, I don't think I went into that one.
Old school, real country, fried bologna sandwiches you could eat. I love Tootsie's too.
Oh yeah, I've been to
Tootsie's
Tootsie's.
is very Tootsie's is very touristy, but I do love it too. I love it in there. I took my wife, my daughter, her and her friend. I dropped them off at the Ryman for a concert recently. I didn't want them walking down there at night by themselves. So I told my wife, I'm going to take them and drop them off. I'll bring them home. She said, what are you going to do for like 7 hours? I said, I'm going from one bar to the other. And I went out by myself. I had a nice dinner at the 1230 Club, started drinking bourbon there, and then I hit every single bar on Broadway and had one beer in every bar. I loved it. I had the time of my life. I
That
did.
sounds Nashville's so
And then
cool.
my daughter got to drive home. Yeah, absolutely.
That's good.
Hmm.
Awesome. So I have my closing question. I have two of them I'm going to choose from. All right. So I'm going to go with, what's a random experience that turned into a great story later?
Oh man. Oof. Okay. Me and my wife used to go to Las Vegas a lot, and we used to party when we were younger there. We had a great time. And my wife, she's going to kill me for saying this. She had a tradition that every night we got there for, the first night, she'd get very sick because we'd go a little too hard, right? And I don't know if that was a decision. Wait a second. No, I can't go there. Never mind.
I can ask my other question if you want.
Yeah, maybe you should. Never mind.
Okay, this one will be very heartfelt and positive, I'm sure. If you could relive one day
Yeah.
of your life, if you could relive one day of your life, which would you choose?
Oh, I think about this actually often. If I could do anything that's not possible, I would love to go back to my wedding day, but my kids be there. I
That's
know
really
that
cool.
doesn't make any sense, but when we got married, that's when everyone in our families were together. They were alive. My
Mm,
relatives didn't pass on yet, right? And like my kids now have missed out on so much family back home. Right, the way I grew up in Jersey, especially on the Italian side of things, I had so much family around. Like my kids would have loved the way I grew up, where I grew up in Jersey. As a matter of fact, they just got to see a lot of it this past week. But if I could fantasize about any one thing to change, I'd love to go back to my wedding day, but have my kids there to truly enjoy it in the best way possible. Silly answer, but if reality wasn't a real thing, that's what I would love.
that's a really cool answer. And yeah, it's almost like some of these questions, like you had heard them before, but I just want it for everybody
I
listening.
love
This
it.
is
I
random.
got to tell you, Leanne, I love the questions because I hate saying no to someone when they ask me to do a podcast, and a lot of young trainers ask me to do it, and I'm like, I'll say yes, but then I say, don't do the same crap everyone else does. Don't say, how'd you get started? Tell us a little about yourself. Like, do something new. And you're doing that. So I love it. I love these questions. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is fun, and I think that people listening, they're going to learn much more about you and your family, and things that others won't ask about, like Jurassic Park and such.
Yeah, I love it. It's cool stuff. I love it.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share? Anything that you're working on right now that you want dog trainers to know about?
I wish there was, but I'm pretty simple. I wake up, we do the same thing every day. I have people that drop their dogs and trust me with their dogs for a month at a time. They live with me and my family, just like my dogs do. I see people that travel literally from all over the country to spend 4 or 5 days here in an Airbnb to do private lessons. I talk to people all over the world for the online consultations every day, but there's nothing exciting. I work with my own puppy when I can, which isn't that much. First thing in the morning, I do a little work. Later on in the day, we do some playing together. But there's nothing new and exciting. I'm still traveling, doing seminars. I'm going to some new locations and meeting more people. I'm not trying to come up with something new and invent something new, because I haven't invented anything in dog training up to this point, but I will keep trying to be, I'm a student, a lifelong student, and it's my job to be a student from those who came before me that know more than me. And it's my job to be a teacher that those that came after me and know less than me. And that's what I just continue to try to do.
Excellent. Thank you, Larry. This has been such an awesome
Thank you.
conversation. I just had so much
Yeah.
fun, and everybody that's was able to listen, I hope that you enjoyed it. Again, it's Larry Krohn from Pack Masters, PAK Masters .com, right? Okay, Pack Masters. We'll add your socials and everything into the post. And yeah, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you so much again, Larry. This has been fun.
Thanks, Leanne. Appreciate it.
Yeah, everybody have a great day.